Beeman Show. I'm really excited to dive into this topic today, and it's probably going to ruffle some feathers as I've already been talking about it on social media. And a few people are like, no, and want to give me pushback. And I get it because it's easier to blame things outside of us than it is to actually accept and take responsibility for the things that we have done through our lives. And, I see this so much, especially as I'm raising teenagers right now. And I have one child who really does not want to accept responsibility. And just like walking him through these things that he's been doing, I like see so much how much power that you actually have in yourself when you can actually take responsibility for the things that you did or the things that you didn't do, and how much more control you will have over the outcome of your life, or like we're going to talk about today, your health, your fitness, and your nutrition when you do that. So, this episode is coming from a space of love, it's coming from a space of empowerment, it's coming from a place of I want you to not just feel better in 5 years or in 10 years. I want you to create the body and the life that you desire. And you have full control over that. So today I want to talk about something that I constantly see in my DMs and in client check-ins, and honestly just the conversation with women in their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, their 60s. This is the age group that I tend to work with. I tend to work with people in their late 30s to their early 60s. However, I work with all age ranges. And here's what I hear is, I swear it was easier in my 20s. My metabolism just isn't what it used to be. I must have ruined it. It's my age. And I want to lovingly challenge that. Because here's the truth. Your metabolism doesn't just automatically, suddenly shut down at age 30. Yes, there are definitely gradual changes that happen as we age. Yes, there are hormone shifts over time. And yes, muscle mass can decrease if we are not intentional. But, that's a big but, for most women, what actually changed wasn't their metabolism. It's their habits. And it's the things that they did in the 20s that are finally catching up to them in their 30s and their 40s. And here's what I mean. In your 20s, you probably moved more without trying. You walked to class. You went and danced it out all weekend long. You worked more active jobs. You weren't sitting at a desk for 8 to 10 hours a day. Or maybe you were, but you were probably more active than you are now. You didn't have the same stress load. Your non-exercise activity, the little movement throughout the day, was absolutely higher. Now, I want to fast forward to your 30s and your 40s. You're building a career, you're running a business, you're raising kids, you're managing a household, you sit more, you drive more, you're more stressed, you sleep less, you have more things that offer like you can order your groceries so you don't have to go in and walk around the grocery store. You have somebody come clean your house so you're not cleaning your house. There are so many convenience things that we do now that have slowed us down, and we stop moving because of it. And stress alone can literally change your appetite, it can change your cravings, it can change your energy. And on top of that, I really want to talk about food patterns. So in your 20s, a lot of women were under eating during the week, and then they were overdoing it on the weekends. You might still be doing that in your 30s and your 40s, but we were skipping meals. We were living off coffee. We were crash dieting before vacations. We were starting over every Monday, and it worked because your lifestyle masked it. But the truth is over time, that cycle catches up to you. So I will say with my full chest that I truly believe that it was not easier in your 20s. The habits that you had in your 20s are just now finally catching up to you in your 30s and your 40s. I had somebody comment on a TikTok that I did and said, this isn't true. I used to be able to crash diet in my 20s, lose 30 pounds really quickly, and then, just move on with my life. And I'm like, this is the exact reason why. Like, you literally just proved what I was trying to say. The fact that you were crash dieting in your 20s is more of the reason why your metabolism is messed up in your 30s and your 40s, Not because your metabolism slowed down because of your age, not because of hormone changing or anything like that. It's because what you did finally caught up to you. Your habits from being a teenager didn't quite catch up to you in your 20s, but now as you start to age, the things that you did or you didn't do are starting to catch up to you. But with that being said, you have control over how you're going to feel in your 40s, in your 50s, in your 60s. And the thing is, you know, you lose muscle because you weren't strength training consistently, not because you're aging. You diet down and then regain it again. You diet down again and then you regain it again. And every time you might lose a little muscle or your body burns slightly fewer calories at rest than it did. Not because your metabolism is broken, but because your habits didn't prioritize muscle and consistency. Then there are the sneaky parts, right? We slowly start eating more and we think that we're eating quote unquote healthy or clean. But the truth is we just don't notice that we're adding in more calories over time. We start focusing on things like ingredients. We start focusing things like, let's cut out carbs, and maybe we start eating more fat. Well, fat has a higher calorie content than any other macro. So you're eating more without even realizing it. And it's not because we're out of control, but it's simply because life changes. Maybe you have more dinners out, you have kids that are in sports, you're running around, you have more social events, you have more convenience foods, more mindless snacking while you're working or while you're feeding your kids. And here's the kicker. We think that we're eating healthy because, like I said, we're paying attention to ingredients, we're avoiding seed oils, we're reading labels, but we're not paying attention to our total intake. Healthy food still has calories. Food made at home still has calories. Homemade does not equal calorie free. And when movement goes down and intake slowly creeps up, the math shifts. It's not that it's a broken metabolism, it's that compounded habits over time. And I want to be very clear here. It's not about blaming. It's not about saying you did this to yourself. This is about saying you have more control than you think you do. Because if habits compound negatively over time, they can also compound positively over time. You can build muscle at 35. In fact, I built a ton of muscle at age 38 when I entered perimenopause. I literally had no testosterone. My progesterone was non-existent and my estrogen was sky high, and I built the most muscle that I ever had in a 6-month period during that time. You can build muscle at 45. You can improve your insulin sensitivity. You can increase your daily movement. You can regulate your intake. You can improve your sleep. You can manage your stress better. The female body is incredibly adaptable, but it adapts to what you repeatedly do over a long period of time. If you repeatedly undereat and over cardio, it's going to adapt. If you repeatedly overeat and sit all day, it's going to adapt. If you repeatedly lift weights, walk daily, fuel properly, and sleep, it adapts to what you want it to be. Your future body is being built by today's standards, not extremes, not detoxes, not 21-day resets, not these magical supplements that are marketed like they're going to change everything. It's literally your standards. And this is where I want to empower you. You are not stuck because of your age. You are not doomed because you crash dieted in your 20s. You are not broken because you gained weight after having kids. And you simply need a different strategy than what you used before. One that is going to be simple, that's going to fit into your life, and it's going to work for your body. One that prioritizes muscle, it prioritizes movement, adequate protein, consistent intake, and long-term thinking, not this I need to lose weight as quickly as possible kind of thinking, because that is what has got you to where you are now. And if you want different results, you're going to have to do something different. You're going to have to make a complete lifestyle change, because here's the truth. The reason that it felt easier in your 20s is because the consequences hadn't yet compounded. Now they have. But so can your discipline, so can your structure, so can your standards. If you want to feel strong, lean, and energized in 5 years, in 10 years, you don't need to panic. You need to zoom out and you need to ask yourself, what habits are you repeating on a daily basis? Are they aligned with the woman that you want to be in 5 years, in 10 years? That is where the real power is. It's not blaming your hormones. It's not fearing age. It's not fearing ingredients. It's not pointing the finger to everything else outside of you but yourself. You have zero power when you do that. When you choose to accept the fact that you are part of the problem, you get to be part of the solution. And you get to build a body that reflects your standards. You have the choice now. I literally was just scrolling TikTok before I recorded this podcast episode, and there was a guy, and he was 69 years old, and he completely transformed his body. It is never too late to start. In fact, there's a woman, I don't know her name, but I'm sure that if you Googled it, it would pop up. She started in her 70s, and she is shredded in her 80s. There are no excuses to wanting to take care of yourself. Maybe you don't want to be shredded. That's fine. Maybe you just want to feel better. Maybe you want to be able to run with your grandkids, or you don't want to have someone wipe your butt when you are in your 70s or your 80s. That starts now. Whatever you do now is going to compound later. So you're either moving towards a life and a body that you want to have, or you're moving further away from it. Eventually, it's going to catch up, but you have the power inside of you. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this episode. If you are looking for help in order to raise your standards, create a transformation from the inside out, I just opened up my high level touch coaching package that I've never done before. And spaces are limited. And it is by application only, because I really truly only want the women who are ready to make a sustainable change in their life. So if this is you, I'm going to drop the link to that below. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. There's always never any pressure. You can fill out the application. We can decide together if it's a fit for you or not. And I look forward to talking to you in the next episode. I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.